Welcome to the Refine and Shine, the podcast dedicated to mastering the art of continuous improvement and optimizing every aspect of your life. I'm Angelina Rivera, your host, and together we'll uncover the secrets to refining our lives, our habits, and our processes to unlock our inner brilliance. Join us on Refine and Shine, where we'll delve deep into achieving more in life without the burnout and without all the stress. This podcast is your platform for a more fulfilling life through continuous improvement and personal growth. In each episode, I and a diverse array of guests discuss practical strategies for up-leveling every aspect of your life. From developing good habits and organizing your space to refining your mindset and personal goals, we're going to explore it all. Our guests share personal stories about the systems they've developed or systems they've used and the tweaks they've made in their lives when refinement was needed, allowing them to truly shine. Listen to Refine and Shine to learn how you can implement continuous improvement techniques in your daily routine, develop and maintain healthy habits that lead to success and satisfaction, organize your life to reduce the stress and increase your productivity, foster a growth mindset that propels you to new heights. My mission is to inspire you to take bold action, make positive changes, and become the best version of yourself. Whether you're aiming to elevate your career, nurture meaningful relationships, or enhance your overall well-being, Refine and Shine is your guiding light. With over 25 years of experience in continuous improvement, I help businesses streamline their processes, establish efficient work areas, and implement standard work protocols. I have trained over 600 individuals and teams in process improvement, optimizing workflows, and enhancing overall operational efficiency. Tune in every week as we embark on an enlightening journey, exploring paths to refinement and illuminating the way to shine in every area of our lives. Subscribe now and join us on this journey to polish your life and let your best self shine through. Thank you for joining us on Refine and Shine. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Refine and Shine podcast. I'm super excited for my guest that I have today. I have another male guest today, and I love that I get to interview not just females, but males, because I think that we all have stories to tell. And if we can make one impact to one person, it's going to be amazing. So today I have Oscar Ramirez as my guest. He was born and raised in Oakland, California. We'll not talk about who his football team is. I'm a Chargers fan. I just got to tell you. But he's worked in the automotive industry for 15 years before he switched his pursuit and passion into working in the hobby grade RC world. He's the co-founder of ASD Crawlers, and we'll talk a little bit about that. He's worked on organizing. It's an organization working to raise funds and awareness for autism. He loves helping children and adults impacted by mental and behavioral challenges. Married to his high school sweetheart, celebrating 21 years of marriage this past June. He has 3 sons, 2 of which are impacted by autism. And now he's shifting gears to help bring awareness to men's mental wellness and working on becoming a life coach. I think that is so awesome. So welcome, Oscar.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for having me. It really is an honor, and I know it's been a long time coming. So like I'm all about it. I was waiting for this invite for so long, and like I know you and I talked about it quite a bit. I want to say probably over a year ago, right? We were talking about the possibility, and I was like, "Oh, game on! Let's do this!" Yes. Any time that I have an opportunity to talk to folks and kind of spread any ray of sunshine that I possibly can, that I'm in it. Let's do it. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it actually was a year. It was when we were at your last event, your ASD
Right.
event.
Right. And that's coming up the year for September. Yeah, September next month would be it. Yeah. And that was a very somber goodbye to the event, right? And that's wow. Until you said that, I was like, wow, like it didn't hit me, but yes, it's coming. The time is coming to where I'm going to start to get flooded with memories, and it's going to make me all sappy and moody and going, oh, did I do the right thing on walking away from that venture? And as I stand here right now saying that out loud, yeah, I think it is. It's because sometimes you have to let go of some things to grow in other areas. And I think that's kind of one of the biggest takeaways that I take whenever you and I talk is that trying to find ways to communicate with those that it's okay to grow, right? It's okay to have that mindset where one is continually growing and not staying stagnant in oneself, isolating one's mind and body, you know?
Right, right. And what you have said, you have to walk away from things or things that in order to make room for what's coming.
Right.
And I think that you wouldn't, I don't know, you just started your new podcast, and I don't think that you would have been able to challenge doing the event and doing all these things and having the podcast at the same time. Like it's a lot to take on.
100%. And also like even before, when the late Brandon told me, my brother and best friend, before he passed away, we had 7 years of events before the seventh annual event because we actually had a year that didn't count. And there was years where he was going through some things, mentally, work wise, work stress, family reasons that kind of kept him unable to hyper focus on the event, and where I would have to kind of take on more of the weight and vice versa. And going through some recent challenges with my family, my father included, health wise, and my oldest son graduating high school, and so on, and also kind of being selfish in a way. And I say selfish in a very light term, but being selfish and putting my health first the last year and a half, I don't think I would have been able to focus and put every bit of my heart into another year of event to that capacity while still being able to navigate taking care of myself to the degree that I've been doing this last year and a half.
Yeah, so let's before we go, I would love to talk about your health journey and what you've done, but can we talk a little bit about what you do with it? What was ASD Crawlers about, and what was the events, and how you went and helped others? And then, you're closing that chapter of actually putting on these great events for, that's what you've done, but that has led you to making sure that you're also taking care of your health. So can you talk about the ASD crawlers real quick? A little bit
Sure.
about what that event is and or what the group stands for?
Absolutely. So ASD stands for Autism Spectrum Disorder. When my oldest son was 2 years old, he was diagnosed being autistic. My wife decided to change career paths. She became a behaviorist to try and educate herself and learn every single thing that she could to be the best advocate for our son. She did amazing things, helped hundreds and thousands of families, going through the mourning process of finding out that your kid is or child is on the spectrum, and then trying to learn how to best help them. So after watching her doing all of these amazing things, I was heavily involved in the RC remote control car hobby for ages since I was a kid, and it's something that I love doing with my children. And I felt inclined, like I would take my kid out with me and I would get these weird looks because my kid would be stemming. He couldn't stand still. He was not an atypical child and was very challenged being verbal. So, of course, I would get really these horrific looks. And it made me grow thick skin really quick to not care how we were perceived or how it looked. Because to a lot of people, we looked like I was a parent that didn't care what my kid did. So I realized that as a community, there wasn't enough awareness about autism in general. People didn't understand. And so I decided to create a group called ASD Crawlers. And of course, one night I called my best friend, Brandon, and I was like, hey, you know what, dude, I'm building this group. I'm doing X, Y, and Z. And he's like, dude, brother, if that's what you want to do, I will support you 100%. I'm new in the hobby. I don't know much about it, but if that's what you want to do, I'm behind you 100%. Let's do it, hermano. So we did. And he supported me full heartedly. We did an amazing job starting to sorry. Ooh. Oh, my apologies. Allergies.
Okay. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, he supported me wholeheartedly, not having any claim in stake in the situation, not knowing anything about autism. And we formed a group, and the original reason for the group was to create a foundation organization that will support other parents that have children on the spectrum, inviting them to these outings where we can all feel normal and
Mhm.
supportive of one another. And it was specifically to support parents, dads, more than anything. letting them know that they're not alone, that it's not taboo, and that this is a safe place. About a year and a half later, I call Brandon up. It's about 10 o'clock at night, and I say, Brandon, we've done great. We've supported a lot of families. I want to host an event. What are you talking about, bro? I was like, I'm thinking, I want to do a fundraiser, and I want to, raise these funds to help these programs. And one program in particular is one that my son is in, and it's an early intervention program that helps them recently diagnosed children on the spectrum of autism with fine motor skills, speech, OT, all of these fundamental assistance that will help him hopefully have a better fighting chance as he grows into adulthood and so on. Oh, okay, bro, we'll talk about it in the morning, and we'll figure it out. Sure. I mean, I guess I'm behind you. Yeah, we'll do it. Cool. Hang up with him. I didn't sleep that night. I created an event on Facebook. I started inviting people. I started sending sponsorship requests to manufacturers. We wake up in the next morning with over 250 people already confirmed going to this event that we didn't even know where we were going to host at.
Oh, wow.
Brandon wakes up the next morning, sends me a message. I guess we're hosting an event. I was like, yeah, damn right. Hosting an event. I told you we were doing it. And that's one thing he loved and hated about me. That when I have my head focused on something, I'm going all in and we're making it happen. He was always the same way, but he wasn't expecting to finally meet his best friend to be his match at that. So having two powerhouses that thought the same way, it was really easy for us to get through year one, and then year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. And we ended up doing 7 amazing years, eight total, 9 if you include the year that we didn't have an event, that it was just support. But close to 10-year run of ASD crawlers. And he brought to the table wanting to help adults on the spectrum of autism. So we also would donate to a foundation that helped adults on the spectrum with job placement opportunities, mentorship programs, first responder training out of Sacramento, California, the Fly Brave Foundation. So now we decided that ASD Crawlers is now a full circle foundation, helping children that were recently diagnosed at the beginning, and we were there all the way to the end when they became adults. That was our goal. Unfortunately, this last year, back in 2023, January, Brandon would not see any more days and lights. He passed away due to some health complications that were really sudden. And it really sparked this thought in my head of like, do I really want to do this without my best friend next to me? And everyone around me, family members that were involved, were like, I think we're done. I don't really want to do this anymore. This is just, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And I said to all of them, I was like, cool. Anyone that wants out, there's the door. I'm not worried about it. There's no shame in it. We all need to heal. I'm doing this last event because I need to heal. And I need to do it, and I'm going to do it for him. So we did a 2-day event. Right? You were there, right? And,
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so awesome.
And my goal was always to do a 2-day event. And I wanted a 3, even a 4-day event. Brendan thought I was crazy. I said, no, I'm doing it. And we did a 2-day event, but instead of making it all about RC, we made that Friday about Brandon, right? And had fun, and it gave us all a time to grieve before the big day the next day. And we raised a record number, close to $23,000 we raised, overall, and $16,000 raised, donated to foundations after all the bills were paid. I mean, the biggest year we ever had,
Yeah.
and it did amazing. And we had the support of everyone. And after that, like I said, it was one of those things where I finally felt like, okay, I did what I could with this community. My oldest son is now graduating high school. I need to venture into doing more things. And one of my biggest things was I had to realize that I was completely and utterly broken mentally. And I had kept putting band-aids over myself, my emotions, and to suffice everyone else around me. Everyone needed Oscar to be strong. Everyone needed Oscar to be able to get us through the veil to the next event. And I shamefully didn't tell everyone that I was completely broken and even suicidal. I was at a point in life where I really didn't care if I was around anymore. And I was angry that he got taken away because, in my opinion, I felt like he's the one that had even more to offer the world than I did. And I felt like the wrong one was taken. And I struggled with that. And at the same time, I, from generational trauma, would eat and overeat and eat my emotions. And I ballooned to a massive 317 pounds, the heaviest I've ever been, which at that point sparked this idea of like, I need to do something for myself. And there was something that sparked it actually that made me decide to do something that was gigantic for myself, which was to look at weight loss surgery for myself, which I don't recommend anyone do. I don't want anyone out there to say, he said you should do it. No, you need to do what's going to work for you. And this avenue worked for me. And we can get into that as well. But that's ASD Crawlers as a whole. It was a goal to support parents. Um, there was no greater feeling than hosting this event and having children on the spectrum, adults on the spectrum come to the event, look around and see everyone wearing logos and t-shirts with autism plastered all over them and ASD pride and making it like you have a swagger about yourself because you're autistic. You're cool, bro, because you have autism. You're on the spectrum. There's nothing wrong with you. You're awesome. You got superpowers. You're a superhero. And they would come around and they would give us hugs and thank us and be like, all these people are here for me. Yes, they're here for you. They're here because you're awesome.
Yep.
And giving those children and adults that gift that I didn't even know we were giving them was the biggest takeaway that I know Brandon is extremely proud about.
It was amazing event, and when we went and all of us went out and just crawled, got our RC cars, and a lot of people don't understand. They think it's just toys, but there's just something about an RC car, and you're just driving, and it's just you in the car, and the obstacle that you can overcome. But then it started to rain that day too, and then we even got hail, and it was like crazy. But it was my husband and I left at midnight so that we could drive down there because I had to work that Thursday. We left at midnight, um, Friday morning so we could get there by 8 o'clock. And then we stayed, the night for the next day. But we had so much fun and everybody was so welcoming and it was just amazing. And then my husband got to help a few people that needed work on their cars. And the thing is that all of those kids, no matter, they weren't scared to talk to an adult or ask for help. And I have a nephew who's autistic, and I've been around autistic children, and a lot of times they're so fearful to being even opening up their mouths to ask a question, or they don't have the verbal skills to communicate. But at that day, everybody was all on the same page. Everybody was talking. Everybody was just, those 2 days, everybody was just having a great time, and that was really amazing.
It was very euphoric, right? I mean, you can feel it in the air. And Brandon was a person that, we always joked he always had FOMO. If you don't know what FOMO is, it's fear of missing out.
Mhm.
And we knew that he had the biggest fear of missing out that day because it rained on us for a little bit. And when we actually started the Brandon Tomey Memorial Crawl, when we all took off, and it was almost like he was crying for us, like he was there with us. And the entire crew sat on a rock and we took a picture. And the sun, it was all cloudy overcast that day. The sun peeked through at just that moment. And you see these rays of sunlight peeking through the group of us as we're sitting on this rock. And you have the lake behind us. And it was like it gave me chills. I have goosebumps right now.
I have goosebumps too.
It was insane on so many levels. And um it's something that I think we all needed and everyone really appreciated it. The families that we helped, the um, foundation, the organization as a whole, it was definitely something we all needed to kind of, to start the healing process in that sense. Um, but yeah, like I said, it definitely, it wasn't easy to walk away from, but I knew that my bigger picture now was bigger than even that. And
Yes.
my focus right now is really to try and um, I don't really like to use the term mental health. I've been really trying to remove the stigma from mental health and move to mental wellness, because that's the goal, is for us to be well mentally, right? And my goal, I guess, moving forward is I've been hyper focused on myself and fixing myself and going to really extremes with therapy that I've been doing recently. Um, is to that I found out that I had a lot of traumas within that I've been carrying for so long. And my family, unfortunately, were the ones that were getting the worst of me at
Mhm.
that time. So being self-aware was my biggest gift that I gave myself the last year. Self-aware of my triggers, self-aware of people that trigger me, self-aware of comments that I take personal and how I react, being knowledgeable of what being overly dramatic or anger or sad to how I react. And if you can be self-conscious about all those things, then you're hopefully catching yourself before you steamroll yourself. Because the majority of people that deal with any form of the way we are, it's like, oh, well, that's just the way he is. No, the way he is because that's what it's a learned behavior,
Mhm.
right? I might be really upset about the way my kids slam the door when they walk in the house because my dad used to yell at me about the same thing.
Mhm.
When it's not a big deal, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, not as big as a deal as I make it, anyways. You know, so I'm 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 really big at this point on really identifying the triggers that caused my generational trauma growing up, things that made me the way that I am, and highlighting the things that made me good at the things that I do. Because one of the biggest things that I found in the last year is that if you're too stuck on the negative, you're never going to get out of that hole.
Yeah, it's going to be stuck in your head
Right,
all
right.
the time. It's a repetitive thing, those negative mindsets. In fact, majority of our thoughts are negative. And so we have to train our brain to think positive. And it all starts with being, like you said, generational trauma. And like the majority of the trauma or the way that we respond as adults is from what's happened from the time we were 1 to the ages of 10.
Mhm.
And so,
Absolutely. You
yeah.
know, and I think in general, and I know men and women both deal with this.
Mhm.
I feel that men even more so, but how many of us have heard the term, "Oh, you're crying? I'll give you something to cry about."
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Growing up, that was a thing. We don't cry. There's no crying here. Stop that. You know, and like that kind of an avenue would raise us all in generations to not be okay addressing our feelings as men and women. And I hear this quite a bit from women as well. So it's not just a man thing, but I feel that men have taken that to the next level, and then we have to be tough. The next person next to us, we got to be tougher than them. So we can't show emotion because that's a sign of weakness. And I
Mhm.
want to normalize showing weakness. And I've, for the first time in my life, have been more than open about wearing my heart on my sleeve, whether I'm sad or not.
Mhm.
You know, whether I'm happy, whether something's affecting me. I rather feel because I've realized that the more I feel, the more alive I feel.
Yeah, you're not numbing the pain. And when you're numbing yourself, you're not alive. You're just shutting down emotions. And then that shut emotions, you just keep pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. And it causes so much havoc on our bodies when we're doing that. And you're right, men, like I would love, like there's not a lot of places like I've been able to go as a woman, been able to go to retreats and meet with women. And even yesterday, or I don't remember, Thursday, I was at an event and a lot of it was about igniting mental wellness and humanity. And a lot of people were, psychiatrists and um, functional doctors and things like that. And they were talking like we as women can talk, but we can go and gather. But there's not a lot of men who will gather, or there's places for them to gather and talk about things
Right.
because they feel fear of being judged. And we were talking about that generational trauma and how we respond and how we can do sound baths and meditation and all these things, but men don't want to do, they don't feel that they're welcome to those things. And it's like we need to create something so that they feel welcome. And I struggle with it with myself. I mean, my son has mental health issues. My husband has a mental health. He actually medically retired from his job because of his mental health issues, and that's how we got into Operation 11 Charlie, and that's kind of how we got to meet. Um, but there is like his avenue is, our seeing, but there's so much more that can be done. And
Sure.
it's trying to like that's one of my goals is one day to have something for even like we even talked jokingly that we're going to buy like 20 acres and have a ranch where people can just go and just sit and kumbaya with each
Right.
other. And my husband's sober, we don't need alcohol or anything like that, just men sitting around a fireplace or a pit and just talking and laughing and joking. You know what I mean? Something like
100%. And I have to say, like Operation Lemon Charlie is an amazing foundation. And um, one of the things is that yes, the entrance is using a remote control car as a way to give these veterans an outlet to utilize to keep them busy and keep them out of that depressive state and give them something to look forward to. But the thing that I took away the most out of it wasn't just that. It was a camaraderie that they build amongst themselves.
yeah,
The brotherhood that is bonded, the brotherhood that they've already felt with other service members, right? And
yeah.
I always say that the brotherhood in service members is unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life. And I'm actually jealous of it. Like honestly, because it is so beautiful. And I know that a lot of men are going to be like, dude, you really call it? Yeah, it is. It's 100% beautiful.
Mhm.
Acknowledge it. It is the most humbling thing that you can experience. And to give someone that gift of like, brother, I got your six.
Mhm.
I'm here with you. You're not alone. For these folks that are dealing with so much trauma that they put themselves through by wanting to protect our country. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Yeah.
not asking for anything in return other than doing their civil duty. See, my biggest takeaway from that is I struggle because I wanted to serve. When I was fresh out of high school, 9/11 hit and I was ready to go. But I had multiple surgeries on my hip, which caused my leg, my left leg to be a quarter inch shorter than the other one. So
Mhm.
because of my ailments, I was not allowed to serve. And I was really envious of those around me. And I know that sounds bad because who would want to be envious about what people go through when you serve? But it was the fact that I saw so many amazing people that I knew that were willing to put themselves to the side to put their country first, and I wanted to do that too. I wanted to be that. I wanted to show that I had that heart. So as an adult, now experiencing what I've experienced, going through the traumas that I've gone through from the streets of Oakland, dealing with gang violence, almost being, killed myself, shot at multiple times, never was a gang member, was just always at the wrong place at the wrong time. And to be here and have the blessing to have a voice of any kind, I feel like it's time to do something for those around me. My goal is to create some form of a retreat.
Okay, good. I will support you. Tell me how I can help you.
Yes, that is my goal is moving away from the events is to create something like that where we can have that bonfire talk and we
Yeah.
can have that open invitation to be able to discuss about one's feelings. And there's a couple groups out there that I'm a part of that we're working on and growing. One of them is called Men's Coffee on Facebook, and it's only for men that are dealing with anything. But it's an outlet that allows you to go in there, vent, and I can't tell you how many times. It's only about 199 of us in there right now, and I hope to grow it even more and more. It's not my group, but I'm a moderator on it, an admin, and there's so many guys in there that are struggling, and they're open, and they're being vulnerable, and I'm like, and so I'm in there all the time, like they're like, I feel stupid for talking about this, but guys, I don't know what to do. My wife is mad at this. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Blah blah. Cool. You know what? Let's have a meeting. Let's have a video call. Let's support one another. Let's do something. And so I'm really trying to be more involved. And for the first year, I did not involve myself because I felt so broken that I felt like there's nothing I can give anyone. And within the last few weeks, I've been finally acknowledging the person that I see in the mirror. Finally loving, and I'm not fully loving, but loving the person. I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it. And shifting my mind from the negative thoughts to positive thoughts. And there's one thing, I don't know if you know this or not, but have you ever read The Secret? Have you heard of The
Yes.
Secret? Yes.
Yes.
Any of you guys out there listening, if you haven't, I'm telling you right now, you're missing out. If you don't like reading, check it out on audiobook. If you don't like audiobook, there's a movie. Like, indulge because it is 100% the gift of life. Training your mind to be positive will attract positive energy.
Mm.
Negative energy attracts negative energy. And this is not rocket science. It's not taboo. It's just the truth. In fact, our parents have been telling us this since we were kids. Misery loves company. Misery loves company means someone negative is attracting negative attention and negative energy towards you or towards them. So being able to retrain my mind to be more positive and try to find silver linings in anything is important. There's a saying out there that says, um, if you had $86,400 given to you daily and someone steals your $10 from you, are you going to throw away the remaining $86,400? Are you willing to do that? Why, you ask? Very simple, because you have 86,400 seconds in a day. Are you going to allow someone that's negative or someone that is, has no impact on your life, that's going to ruin 10 seconds of your life? Are you going to throw away the rest of your day that same way? You
Mhm.
wouldn't do it to money. So why are you allowing yourself to do it to your day? You
I
know,
love that. That's a really good. I love that. That's awesome.
and I think it just kind of goes hand in hand with, you know, for me anyways, is wanting to do for others what I wish others would do for me. And so I'm venturing out. I want to be a life coach. I want to help those around me. I want to help men feel comfortable talking about the things that they want to do. So I created a new podcast, right? I've been podcasting for years, but this is finally the first time I decided to do my own, just me interviewing people. And I have a list of people that are going to be on, but they're going to remain anonymous because the goal is to get them vulnerable on the show. And they don't want people to know who they are. Because, like, listen, I'm okay. I'm ready. I'm going through a lot of stuff. I'm okay being vulnerable, but I don't want my name out there. Cool. Because this isn't just about me making a show. This is about me helping you heal through your trauma. And hopefully somebody listening, like some of you amazing folks out there right now, will take something away from it and maybe feel better about yourself. Maybe understand that you're not the only one that's going through something and that there is outlets out there that can help you. Right?
I love that. I think that's so awesome. When I had read that you were doing actually I had shared it, I saw it on Facebook and I shared it, the mental wellness, podcast. I think that's awesome because there is so many people that would rather listen to a podcast because nobody knows they're listening to a podcast just to try to get some type of guidance. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, good. No, sorry.
I just think that everything that you're doing is amazing, but all of this didn't happen like just wake up all of a sudden. There was something that you did with working on yourself that led you to help start and that's where, you talked about your weight loss surgery but it's not just the surgery. Not everybody can have the surgery, but there are certain criteria to get up to that surgery that you had to work on. And you want to talk a little bit about that journey?
100%. Every insurance provider is going to have their own list of requirements for weight loss surgery. Um, for me, we'll backtrack even a little bit further. Why weight loss surgery? Why did I choose it? I've been on this kick since I was a kid where it was easy when I was depressed to just eat my emotions. It was something that I learned from my mother. My mom and dad divorced when I was 3 years old. My mom and dad couldn't afford to keep me in the home because both of them separated and didn't have nowhere to stay. So a lot of the times for the first 3 to 6 months, I was pawned off on family members, bouncing around, and I felt a real big sense of abandonment. My mom's love language was not affection, so I never got the hugs and loves that I always wanted, and it turned me as I got older and realized it and got married. My wife would gauge her love language as acts of service, not affection, and mine is affection, physical touch. So I never understood why. There was a time where, as I was getting ready for surgery, you have to be cleared psychologically speaking for it. And it came up, like, what are some of your triggers? Well, I don't understand why I'm not loved. I don't think it's that you're not loved, Oscar. I think you're a loved person. I go, I don't feel loved. No one wants to hold me. No one wants to give me that affection. And I'm yearning for it every single day. I argue with my wife about it. And I'm too much sometimes because I need it. And I'm like that mouse that gets a cookie. I can't have enough of it. If I get a cookie, then I want milk. If I want milk, then I want my coloring book. And I want my coloring book, I want another cookie. You know what I'm saying? So it's a never ending cycle. I get sticky brain on wanting that affection. Sometimes I just need to be embraced because of the lack thereof when I was a child. So that stemmed me to really start to realize that I had a lot of things that had from my childhood had pushed down and not addressed. So that's avenue number one. But taking a few steps back, um, I had been on a yo-yo effect trying to lose weight for years and years and years. I would be on a diet. I would lose 20, 30 pounds just to a point where I felt like, hey, now I can go to that wedding and fit in that suit again. And I'm going to party it up. I'm going to eat what I want because I earned this. That's my reward. And then 2, 3 months later, I will be right back up to 290, almost 300 pounds. So this would go up and down, up and down. I would exercise regularly. Then I would deal with injuries. And then I would feel depressed because I couldn't work out. And so this was just an ongoing rotation for years and years and years. And I felt always like, you know what, I'm never going to get out of this hole. This sucks. Like, why is it so easy for some people? People can eat what they want and they're not gaining an inch. And I'm over here struggling, eating 900 calories, and I'm mad at the world that I'm eating so little. And, like, what the F,
Mhm.
So at my heaviest, I had pre-diabetes, sleep apnea. I was getting horrible sleep. I would stop breathing in my sleep. My wife is scared that there's going to be a morning she wakes up and I'm not going to be with them anymore. I treat the kids. We want to go to Universal Studios, and this is the spark that just started this whole journey for me. I'm really good at helping others. I'm really good at advocating for people. I'm really good at looking at people and seeing the best in them, even when they're evil. Like, that's just the way I am. But I can never do it for myself. I was always like, I don't want it. I feel like helping myself is selfish. So going to Universal Studios, having a good time with the family. We're riding rides. We're eating, doing all kinds of cool things and whatnot. And kids are having the best time of their life. Like, I'm vicariously living through them in their eyes because this is just amazing. And then we go and ride the Harry Potter ride. Wait in line, get to the front. I sit down, and they can't close the ride on my stomach. Sir, we can't close it. It's unsafe. Push harder. Like, push. Come on, close it. I'm not going to not ride this ride with my kid. At this time, it's my 10-year-old. Like, no, dude, I'm not going to not ride with I'm here with my kid, yo. Come on. Push on it. And I'm yanking on this thing, trying to get in that seat, and it wouldn't close. Sir, we're going to need you to get up and move. We have to get this line moving. So I can't ride? No, you need to get up and move. You're too big. And I stood up and I start this walk of shame off the ride. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, damn, I can't ride a ride with my kid. I can't experience it and make a memory with him. I felt ashamed. People were staring at me. Some people were like laughing. Whether or not they were laughing at me, I don't know, but I felt like I internalized all of that feeling. I go to the bathroom and I look in the mirror and I'm just like, I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. I hate who you are. I hate who you've become. You put everyone in front of you, but you can't even take care of yourself. And like, I said some nasty things to myself. You fat, you this, you that, you piece of crap. Like, I broke myself down in the mirror that I know the people that were walking in thought I was fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
My kids ride the ride. They get off. I get text messages. Where you at, Dad? I'll be out in a little bit. I go sit in a stall. And I'm just bawling. And I'm hating myself. I'm hating everything about me. And at that moment, I said, I'm not going to ever feel like this again. I will never in a million years feel the way I am feeling right now. I'm going to look back at this and I'm going to say, this was the day. I failed at a lot of things in life, but this is one I'm not going to take the L on.
Mhm.
So I made a decision at that point, and I said, I'm going to do something. So I started eating better, doing good, and I decided to look into programs, saw nutritionists. I used every resource that I could find, my wife could find for me. I, with her support, um, asked my PCP, my primary care physician, to set me up with a weight loss program. She sent me to a weight loss program, and this is where we get to the nitty gritty. Every insurance company is different, and they have different requirements. Mine required me to be in the program for 6 months without missing a single appointment. Now, this was right before Brandon passed away. Um, I started doing better, eating good, losing a little bit of weight here and there, working on myself. I was on depression medication. I think this is my third year on depression medication at the time, and my fourth depression medication at that, because I kept having a lot of people don't know this or not, but I suffer from depression, social anxiety. And although I act like an extrovert at these events and my lives that I do, I'm an introvert, and I force myself to public speak to help me numb myself enough to feel comfortable doing so. So Brandon passes away and I fail. I miss an appointment. I fall off. I start over again. Start over again. I went into my medication change and I had a lot of problems again. And so I said, you know what? I'm not going to the appointment today. And I failed again. So a program that should have taken me 6 months took me a year, almost a year to the T.
Mhm.
I had to go get a psychiatric evaluation, get passed. And although I got the green light, the psychiatrist was like, I think there's a lot of stuff we still need to talk about. I go, there is. But she says, you have to be comfortable to talk about. You can't just say you're going to talk about it, and I'm not going to sit here and stare at a wall with you. We need to address these things. So a lot of things came up, from the abandonment issues to even some places that I was left with and being taken care of. There was some sexual abuse that I endured growing up. And like I told you before we started, I have no problem talking about any and all of my traumas that I've experienced, because there's someone out there that has experienced worse than me still. But maybe they can feel like they're not alone. Um, and that's what I've endured in my life. I went through the program. I continue to do therapy. I am happy to say that I'm now 9 months out of depression medication. I'm no longer on antidepressants. That was my choice, because when Brandon passed away, I was really numb and I didn't feel. And everyone was like really broken. And for a while there, I was like, I smiling, like, whoa, this is what's going on, you know? And eventually what ended up happening is I cracked.
Mhm.
And that is the reason why I decided that surgery was going to be something I needed to do, because I needed a change. I needed a life change. I didn't need a temporary fix anymore. I needed something that was going to be permanent. I needed
Right.
to look at my health journey no longer as a journey. I needed to look at it as a lifestyle.
Style. Mhm.
And here I am. I am 206 pounds today. I was 317 pounds a year and a week ago. So I feel a lot better myself. I don't have sleep apnea anymore. My A1C is down at a 5.2. So I'm no longer even a pre-diabetic. Like I I sleep great. I'm in a better mood. And because I was finally able to be selfish and encouraged by my family, my inner circle, like, dad, husband, be selfish.
Mhm.
Because if you're not going to be selfish right now, then you're not going to be around long enough to see tomorrow.
Yes, exactly.
So
That's one of the, oh, go ahead.
so I chose life.
Yeah.
I chose to fight. And it was my biggest battle to date. And although I'm still in it, I feel like I'm finally at a point where I'm healed enough that I want to start helping others feel what I feel.
Well, there's a couple of things that you talk about, and I think that, and that's one of the things that I also, I do I do coaching and I do time management coaching for a lot of people, because one of the first things that we ever have to do when we schedule our week, a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, people that like have these successful careers, they're always on the grind. But the first thing you have to do when you schedule your time is to schedule time for your self-care
Mhm.
and time for your family, because those are the things that matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money you have, anything else. You got to have the support of your loved ones and making sure that you're taking care of your health. Even Jesus took time to rest. Jesus took time to make sure that he went out in the wilderness to read or whatever he needed to do, but he made sure he took time for himself. And a lot of people, and it's something I'm working on. I changed careers recently, and I'm flying back and forth, and I realized quickly, like, if I'm not walking or doing all the things, and I have had surgery. I had my hysterectomy and then the ovaries removed because there was some cancer. And I was like, I'm struggling, and I'm like, what is the problem? But it's also realizing that I got to make sure I'm taking care of my health. And I told my husband, like, I'm going to get the blood work done. I haven't went back to the doctor in a couple of years, and I said, I don't like what I'm seeing. And he's like, you're beautiful. And I'm like, it's whatever you say, it's great. I go, but it's how I feel when I look at in the mirror. And so I'm working on that as well. And I think that that's what people need to hear, is that you got to love yourself. It doesn't matter what everybody else says. If you don't love yourself, then and you're not getting into the root cause of things, like the root healing, and just putting band-aids and band-aids, you're not addressing the issues. And I think that that's so important. And I know it was a very vulnerable to share what you shared. And I just appreciate your openness and willing, because I think that so many people need to hear that it's okay.
Mhm. You know, I agree with you 100%. And it sounds weird because we're calling it being selfish, but it really is being selfless.
Hmm.
Right? And it's a firm reminder that we can't do good for others if we're not making sure that we are at our best at the end of the day. And I hate to say it, in the process of my personal growth the last year and a half in focusing on myself, I had to allow relationships to fall to the wayside. And some people, I came to the conclusion that there's going to be some people that I will never see them again as part of my destiny, but appreciate that they were a part of my history. And know that everyone's going to come in and out of your life for a reason, whether it's to teach you a lesson, whether it's to enrich in your life, or toughen you up in some way, shape, or form. But reading the room is very important. Being self aware is extremely important. And yes, loving yourself is important. One of my biggest problems as I've lost weight, I'm not going to, sugarcoat it, is if you follow me on TikTok, I wouldn't say unfortunately, I have a awkward 96% female to male ratio that follow me. I have about 7,000 followers. And every day it's like, oh, handsome, will you marry me? Blah, blah, blah. Like I get hit on nonstop. My wife finds it funny, bless her heart. And I get upset. So like I block people when they talk that way to me, because I openly say I'm married. Like leave me alone.
Hmm.
But it's the idea that I don't understand what people see in me. I don't see in myself what other people see in me. So now I'm creating I have a problem now with body dysmorphia. And if you don't know what body dysmorphia is, it's the perception of your body. I weigh 206 pounds today. When I walk by the mirror and I look at myself, I see 300-pound Oscar.
Hmm.
I cannot correlate my brain to see what other people are seeing. The only way that I can sometimes is have to look at before and after pictures.
Hmm.
And it's hard to love yourself when you're not seeing yourself, when you're unable to see yourself the way that other people see you. And when I tell my wife, like, I get mad, like, I don't like it. I don't like that they're hitting on me. I don't like that. Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, it is what it is. Like, it's a compliment, babe. Like, look at you. You're, yada, yada. Like, yeah, you say that. That's the way you see me. I don't see myself that way. And I also don't want to look available. Like, that's not my thing, you know?
Hmm.
She goes, I find it hilarious. Me and my girlfriends at work talk about this. We think it's the funniest thing possible. Like we love it. The aunties love Oscar. I don't know what it is, but you just something about you. Just rock it. Make me that money so that we can go on vacation. So go become TikTok famous. Go become Instagram. Do whatever you want to do, as long as you buy me. What I'm saying, take me to Cancun. Where I'm good. So like that's our inside joke.
Yeah.
But having a good support system is absolutely important. And sometimes it's hard to have support when you don't communicate what is affecting you.
Mhm.
Well, us as men have the stigma where we put ourselves on a shelf to not talk about our pains and our issues and our agonizations that we deal with mentally or physically, right? Because we're supposed to be the provider. We're supposed to go out and work, make that money, be tough. You know what I'm saying? They rely on us. Dude, no. That's the first problem with what is broken in society is that you've put yourself in a shelf because society has told you that. Just like society has told women that they need to wear X, Y, and Z and X amount of makeup and look a certain way to be considered beautiful, when every female out there is a gorgeous specimen in life. It's a gorgeous being. I don't care if you're male, female, trans, non binary. You are beautiful because you are a human being and you're here on this earth. And if nobody's taking the time to tell you that, then I'm here to tell you that. Look in the mirror. I challenge anyone listening, stand up, go walk, stand in front of the mirror. Look at the person that is standing in front of you. Look deep into those eyes. Look back over your shoulder and imagine how far you've come in life, how many people you've lost, how many friendships have left you behind, how many challenges at work you've overcome, how many traumas you've experienced in life, and leave it back there. Leave it in the rearview mirror, but know that all of that has made you into the person that you're looking at in the mirror today. You're not going to be happy at first, but looking in the mirror, looking into those eyes, and simply just saying to yourself, you are enough. I love you. I know you've gone through a lot, but you are loved. We got this. You got this. Together, we can. Starting every morning with something that simple, eventually will start helping the way you look at yourself. Is it going to fix you? No, it's not going to fix you, but it's going to help you. It's going to help being kind to yourself. No one in this world is going to be kinder to yourself than the way you need to be kind to yourself, because that's what matters most. Anyone can be kind to you. Cool. My mama loves me. Cool. My husband loves me. But when you look in the mirror, you don't accept it. So if you start to begin to accept who you see in the mirror, the rest will happen. You know, we talked on Operation 11 Charlie one time, and I remember you were on that live.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still a firm believer of this. Every morning, give yourself a purpose to get out of bed. I don't care what day of the week it is. If the day ends in Y, get off your butt, make your bed. We talked about this one. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Make your bed. It's a simple accomplishment. If you want to be lazy that day, be lazy after you make your bed. Make the bed and then go mess the bed back up again by laying in it. But make the bed. One simple, successful task that you do at every given morning will hopefully spark the way you see the outlook of the rest of the day. That's one accomplishment. If you start every single day with one accomplishment, then how can you go wrong the rest of the day? Is every day going to be perfect? No. Are you going to have struggles? Yes. Is your boss going to piss you off today? Probably. Do you have an employee that's toxic and talks too much and overshares? Yeah, we all have those. But if you started your day with accomplishing one task, you are already probably more successful than the person standing next to you.
Yep.
I'm just a firm believer that sometimes it's the little things that we take for granted, that we don't take enough time to focus on, to allow ourselves to know that we're actually doing a lot better than we give ourselves credit for sometimes.
Yep, that's one of the things behind my like I call it my shine principles, and E stands for every day just celebrate those wins. Even if it seems so small, celebrate those wins.
100%. You know, in autism, and as being an autistic, we call them AUTI, right? AUTIE, AUTI parent or autism parent. We always tell parents to celebrate the wins, the milestones, no matter how small.
Mhm.
And a milestone for someone that has children on the spectrum could be something as simple as, I love you, Dad. What did you say? I love you. Well, my son was probably in his teens before I heard that because he was not able to articulate that way. His social cues were not at that caliber to be able to acknowledge what love is and understand social cues, happy, sad, mad. It broke me when he was at that age and said that to me. You got to appreciate every single win. And if we're telling these parents that have children that are dealing with these things that you have to appreciate every single little milestone, then understand that that principle works for you as well.
Yep.
You know what?
Absolutely.
I made it to work today. I didn't get road rage. That's a fucking win. I'll take that. Hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
I made it to work today. I didn't spill my coffee on myself. Woo! We're winning, you know? You know, also acknowledging the things that we bring into our bodies and our minds. I stay off of social media. I'm 100% big on TikTok. I love TikTok because I've created a community of my followers where we support each other. But if I don't need to, I don't go on Facebook. I don't go on Instagrams. I really try to avoid my social media presence. I do it for work because I have to, unfortunately. But aside from that, I try not to spend too much time on there because
Mhm.
unfortunately, social media has given so many people voices that they don't practice the simple principle of if you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. And
Right.
so many people are using the social media platforms as a way to talk about their problems or vent or politics and whatnot. And that you have to understand and address and acknowledge, like I said before, read the room. If in that room there's negative things going around, you're inviting that negative energy into
Mhm.
your body, into your mind. So I avoid where the negativity is. I
Yeah.
avoid where the devil hangs out. I'm not going to go hang out and be like, "What's up, homie? How you
Yeah.
doing? What we doing today?" You know what I'm saying? Instead, I want to be like, "No, I want to avoid the things that I know are going to trigger me." Some people like to post up stories on Instagram and they're venting about something and it's pretty traumatic. You can see it. They have some animosity. And you just had a conversation with that person the day before and it might not have gone as you wanted. They might be going through something because their child and them or spouse and them went through something, but because they posted that, now you're internalizing that energy that is out there as your own. It may not even be about you.
Mhm.
Social media is giving you the idea that since you're reading it, it pertains to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So understand what your triggers are. You know, not understand, but work on acknowledging your triggers. And that starts with identifying how you feel. My wife was really big on this. She got me started on this about 6 months ago. I started a journal and I keep that journal with me everywhere I go. It's in my backpack. When I'm mad and I have the time to sit down and address it, today I was pissed off because Johnny sitting next to me farted in the middle of this meeting, you know, like whatever it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh,
No.
but today I'm sad because I read something that triggered me and I started thinking about this and that.
Mhm.
And what I found is that when you think about things, as quickly as you get them in your brain, you lose them.
Mhm.
If you take the time to address them and write them down, now they're concrete. They're on black and white. They're on writing.
Mhm.
And I go back and I look at my triggers. I look at the things that I was going through. And at the beginning it was painful because I'm like, geez, like I'm really, really broken here. What's going on? And
Yeah.
now I'm at a point where it's like that person, that person right there is toxic in my life. Every single time I see something so I need to just avoid that energy.
Mhm. Exactly.
It sucks. It sucks because you don't want to push people away. You don't want to be that way. You don't want to be someone that doesn't support other people. But what's that saying? You can lead a horse to water. You can't force them to drink.
Right.
And if you're not focusing on yourself, then how do you expect to be the best you that you can be for your wife, family, kids, brother, sister, and so on? At
Yeah.
the end of the day, if you focused on yourself to be the best you can be, and that person or persons don't want to be in your life for that reason, then they were never there to see you succeed.
Right.
They were just waiting for you to fail.
Mhm. I love that. That's also amazing. I like that you're journaling, and I think that's one of the things that so many people don't do, but it really helps you. Some of the toughest times that I have been through, I was encouraged by a therapist to journal, and sometimes I'll just pull it out and then I'll look at it and read it and or even talk about what do I want in life, like and I do that at night, like what do I want, and I journal about it, and then I dream about it, and then it just makes it feel so real. So then it's like, okay, you talk about waking up and having a purpose to do something. And that's where I was like, okay, if I do this, this, and this, it's going to help me get closer to my goals of getting this,
Sure.
and it also helps me get the thoughts that maybe I am too scared to talk about or don't want to talk about to anybody. Um, and just write it all out, and it helps me get those thoughts clear and out of my head. So I love that.
100%. My wife does journaling, but she took a whole different step on it. When I really like it. Hers is cool because she does it kind of like a scrapbook style.
Oh, okay.
And so I bought her a couple of journals that are like leather bound, but like dyed with pink, so
Mhm.
it's like really foo-foo girly, really cool for her. And when she bought herself a Polaroid camera printer that you Bluetooth to your phone.
Uh-huh.
So pictures that she's taken that month or that week that mean something to her, maybe a picture, a selfie of her and me together on date night, or we watched this movie. So she'll print it and be like, we watched this movie on this day. It was really funny. Me and him enjoyed this. And she started doing that because she wanted to give her kids, our kids, um, an opportunity that, let's say tomorrow she's no longer here, that there's this like journal of her
I love that.
leaving a little bit of herself behind. Her grandma used to do the same thing. So she just took it to the next level, and she adds these little things that kind of make it more personable. Pictures of the boys. Oh, today Elias started his going back to jujitsu, and he came back so excited. And here's a picture of him. Little things like that. So she did that, and I said, I like that, but I have things I need to talk about. So I I write poetry. I write things that are on my mind. There's people out there that are still toxic in my life, and I'm allowing them to be toxic in my life, even though I no longer associate with them, but I'm still grieving not having them.
Mhm.
And a lot of the reasons they're no longer in my life is because they chose their path that allowed me to see that they're not healthy to have in my life.
Yeah, they're not for you.
Yep, yep. And so I talk about it in that, and I express how I feel. I say the things I want to say to them in writing, like, I just wish you would see this, this, and that. And it just really allows me to have my own outlet of talking without using social media to blast
Mhm.
someone, which is doesn't have to, no one likes to air your laundry out on
Yeah,
media.
yeah.
You know?
So let's talk about a little bit about your life coaching. So what are you doing for your life coaching right now?
So ironically enough, nothing. I literally this week, after seeing how well received this podcast was going, I do weekly lives or daily lives on TikTok at my lunch break. I spend lunch, I have coffee, and I go live and talk about mental wellness. I talk about traumas. I talk about autism, being an autism parent. Talk about weight loss. Just be a source of resources. And someone had reached out that actually works with a Navajo reservation out here, who has a means of a community where they're trying to make it less taboo for men to be able to talk to each other, because they feel that what she had mentioned, and it was actually really deep. And hold on a second, I'll actually bring it up because I saved her message. Um, she says we need more male voices to call out our parents and grandparents' viewpoints on mental wellness. Right? Men need the space to step out of gender roles, the stigma that begins their own healing journey. So I really appreciate what you're doing, is what she said. So she recommended, she's like, I think based off of hearing what you say and based off of hearing what you've been doing, like you should really think about being a life coach. And so I'm like, Google, what is a life
Mhm.
coach? I'm curious. And so I really started this venture the last couple of days of really doing my research and um, finding out that yeah, that's something I really want to do. So I'm very much in the beginning stages of
Awesome.
doing my research, finding out what accreditations are needed to do so. Are there any, or do I just speak off the cuff like I normally do and speak from the heart and try to convey some kind of message? Or is there behavioral classes, behavioral wellness classes that I need to take to better help those around me, right? So I'm at that moment right now where I call it my third eye. My third eye is blinking. It's bright. It's opened. I'm accepting light in more than ever. I don't know if you're spiritual or not, but the blue moon was just over us this week.
Right.
Oh, and it was over Aquarius, and it's the perfect time to let go of those things that hold you down, leaving them behind us, and manifesting what you want to accomplish in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I went out there. I played my favorite song. I danced underneath that moon. I manifested success. I manifested financial freedom. I don't want to be rich. I just don't want to have debt.
Yeah, exactly.
And the last thing I wanted to manifest was helping people. Let my story help people. Let me find a way to help people. I don't know how, but I need to. And that's where I'm at. So right now, I'm soaking in a lot of things. I can feel it. What was weighing me down last week with still grieving people's losses, even the people that are still here on Earth that I've lost. I'm now letting it fall to the side, leaving it behind me where it belongs, and acknowledging what my next task is, my next goal. And my next goal is to step it up, do this podcast, continue venturing, continue my photography, which is my passion, number one, and continue to grow. Because I think 2023 was my break, my being broken. 2023 was me being broken. 2024 is my healing, and 2025 is when I decide to grow exponentially. And that's my personal goal for myself.
I am so excited for that, and I can't wait. I would love to have you on again in 2025, or if not sooner, once we get your you figuring out your life coaching, what you're going to offer, and your retreat that you're going to have, because you already said it, so you now you have to do it.
I have to do it. I put it out into the universe, right? That's how it works,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, I I am working on some other avenues right now with ASD and AAC, which is the Autism Awareness Crawl, right? What we called it. With that being gone, there's a few people that when we wrapped up, we're like, dude, you have lightning in a bottle here. Like, you need to do something with it. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm over it. Talk to me in a few months. Well, I made it 6 months and I got bored. So we're in talks right now with 4 or 5 really big pillars in the community, and we're debating something really big for 2025, 2026. It's going to take money to do it, but if it's done right, it will be something that the industry has not seen to that capacity yet. And it's taken the lifestyle of the autism awareness crawl, what ASD built, and but taking it to a platform that is 10 times its size. So there's a lot of things that I really want to work on. Like my wife says, you have a lot of wants. I
Mhm.
need you to stay focused on the one thing that you want to get and to get to the next one. Because I know how you get. You put so many things on the burner and you have things cooking on all these avenues, and then you um, paralyze yourself mentally and you don't know which way to go. And then you're down. And the next thing you know, it's been 6 months and you haven't recorded a single podcast. That's me. I'm either go or I'm in my head under the sand. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to run with it as long as I can so that I don't end up in that same
Right, right.
spot.
And that's kind of like when I first started, like when I thought about doing the podcast, it was almost a year before, it was almost a year and a half before I finally did it. But one of the things I had to do was be clear on what I wanted, let go of some things that were no longer serving me. I changed jobs. I did a lot of different things that allowed me to focus. And I have a whiteboard right here on my desk and by my desk. And every time a thought comes in, I hurry up and write it down. But then I'm like, okay, then I color code it, like circle it. Okay, this is going to be quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, because I want to do a lot of great things. But I also know that I can't burn myself out by trying to do everything all at once. And so that's kind of like when you talked about the coaching, some is like, what is the one thing that people keep asking you about And people kept asking me about time management. How do you do this? How do you do that? So I was like, I'm going to created a course. And then I sold out like 7 people on my first course. It was
Wow.
a 6-week program. And then now I'm doing it, another program. And I'm like, okay, I want like 4 people. And then I got 4 people. So I'm like constantly going. And so I think if you just are clear with what you want, you got clarity and you're working on that and you're journaling, you're doing all the things, then God's going to tell you what you should do during how you should do it and how you outline it. I think it's going to be amazing. So
100%. I think my ultimate goal right now, my primary goal is to stay on task to do an episode a week for my
yeah.
podcast. That's my primary goals. I need to stick on that. And so, like I told you before, I recorded 2 episodes this morning.
Mhm.
I have a list of around 30 some titles, and I'm working on a few more. And I want to grow that. So I mean, we're talking about like relationships and depression, PTSD, work stress, not feeling good enough, learning to love who you see in the mirror, right? We talked about a little bit about that today, being self aware, grieving a loss. So today you don't feel like functioning, you know? Is therapy right for me? Dealing with social anxiety. How does mental health and fitness work together? Growing up in a broken home, right? That's a lot of people experience that. Growing up without a parent. That's a big one for a lot of folks as well.
Mhm.
This one was actually my wife's idea, and I actually really loved it. Cultural impacts on mental health, i.e., i.e., destigmatizing it. The certain communities where it's taboo to talk about one's feelings.
Mhm.
Religion and its effects on mental health. Raising children while healing your own inner child. Right.
No, I love that.
And the list goes on, but that's kind of what I want to keep working on within that realm. This year, and it's going to be a busy rest of the year, but I love what you're doing. I love what you're indulging in. I love that you put a plan together. It took some time to get you there, but I see you moving and grooving, and I'm so proud of you from where I stand and where I sit. It's great to see someone that is driven and making it happen. And I know that your family is extremely proud of you. I know I follow your husband. Your husband follows me as well, and I love all the stuff that he does and all the work that he does with Operation 11 Charlie. I love how supportive you guys have been of ASD crawlers and coming out to the events. It's been an amazing journey, and I love having you guys at those events. And I also love that you kept me from full dehydration that year at
Oh
Pillars
yeah.
of Fire. Those things are amazing. Um,
Yeah.
I need to order some more of those. But you've done a great thing here, and I love what you're doing. Don't stop. Keep shining bright. Keep that light, that ray of light that's inside of you beaming, because there's so many people out there that I'm guaranteeing you're helping in ways that you would never even imagine.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Before we close up real quick, could you give my followers like a call to action, like one thing that you want them to just go out and do? And you might have we talked about a lot of different things, and
Sure.
it could be the mirror exercise, whatever you think, but what is something that you think that they should get up off their butts right now and just do?
So there's a lot of things that come to mind. And we did talk about quite a bit of them that I would love you guys to do. But if there's one thing that I will leave you with, and I say this a lot, and I almost sound like a broken record, but it's 100% true. In your interactions today, you're going to get out, you're going to go to the store, you're going to go to Starbucks, you're going to go to the doctor, you're going to go to work, wherever it is that you're going to today, and you see someone, smile. I challenge you to smile. Why, Oscar? Why smile? It's simple. Because a smile costs you nothing. It's absolutely free and contagious. And somebody that is dealing with some form of mental wellness where they're not feeling good enough, it could be just the one thing that could save a life. You can't go wrong with spreading positivity.
Yes. I love that. That is so true. Um, that's good. I love that. And that's something that I'm gonna, as I go about my day to day, I'm gonna make sure that I smile no matter where I'm at.
And sometimes it's hard because sometimes we're in our bubble and you have your head down and you're out and about. People suck sometimes. Let's be honest. People can be real cruel outside. And sometimes you're going to smile at someone. They're going to be like, what are you looking at me for, weirdo? But I'm telling you, I was I was Starbucks yesterday, and the young lady that was helping me, I don't know what it is, but I have this thing about me where I can feel people's energy.
Mhm.
And when people are around me, I was looking at her, and I don't usually tip when I'm at the drive-through. So I'm like, it's a drive-through. You're just handing me my drink. I'm like, am I really gonna tip you $1 for handing me my drink? Just, come on. I'm kidding. Be kind, people. But um, I can see that someone was weighing heavy on her, and you know, I got my drink, and for some weird reason, I said, "Hey, do you want here? It's gonna ask you a question before you tap your card. $5." I go, hey, I gave you $5. Buy yourself a coffee. And she was like, I probably get it for free. Cool. Then you know what? Go buy yourself lunch. Here's an extra $5. Now you have $10. Go buy yourself a meal. You're gonna feel a lot better. I don't know what you're going through right now, but I can see the pain in your eyes. And I just want you to know that you're amazing. You're beautiful inside and out. And this is not me hitting on you. This is just me telling you that I see you. So I really hope you have a better day ahead. And she literally just like bawled out, eyes crying. She was like I've had 5 or 6 really mean customers back to back to back. And I'm like, people suck sometimes. But you know what? Sometimes we endure a little bit of pain to see goodness in others. So we're going to turn the day around. It's going to be a good one. You're going to smile. You're going to go get something good to eat, and you're going to dance your happy butt all the way back to work. And it's going to be a great day ahead. She's like, thank you so much. Oh my gosh. And I was just like, sometimes it just takes being a good person.
Yeah.
Like be aware of those around you. There's so many people suffering. And just because we're in a society these days where we're so hyper focused on ourselves and how we're feeling and how things aren't going well for us, I don't know. I feel better helping other people.
Mhm.
I feel healthier helping other people. I feel better about myself. I love myself more when I'm able to help people. It's selfless acts.
Yeah. I love that. And how can my listeners I'll leave my your links in the show notes, but like TikTok would be the number one place, and then your podcast.
Yeah, so you can find my podcast. It's called the King's Corner Podcast, hosted by King Big O. You can find that on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Play, Beanpod, a couple different avenues out there that are available that you can search for it. I found out there's actually a few of them that are called the King's Corner, but if the King's Corner Podcast, hosted by King Big O, that'll be me, you'll be able to find it. You can find me on Instagram, same, King_Big_O. TikTok, same one as well. My photography business is Labworks with an X at the end, LABWORX _media on Instagram. Facebook, my profile is public. So, I mean, you can always find me there as well, Oscar Ramirez. But if there's anyone out there that can ever use anything from me to just help you feel a little bit better or any guidance, I'm always open. Never hesitate. I'm a firm believer that closed mouths don't get fed. And sometimes that our spirituality, our aura, our being, our chi,
Mhm.
we need to help each other out any way we can.
Yeah, I love that. Well, so thank you so much for being on, and I'll leave all your information in the show notes as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Refine and Shine. We hope you find valuable insights and inspiration to fill your journey of continuous improvement. Remember, the key to success lies in refining your processes and letting your inner brilliance shine. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated and helps us reach more listeners like you who are eager to refine and shine in all areas of life. Stay connected with us on social media for updates and additional resources and behind-the-scenes content. We love hearing from our listeners, so feel free to reach out with any suggestions, questions, or success stories you'd like to share. As we wrap up, remember that the power to transform your life lies within you. Keep striving for growth, embracing change, and seeking opportunities to refine your skills. Together, let's continue to shine bright and make a positive impact in the world. Until next time, keep refining and keep shining.